much, guys, for joining us for day 8 of our campaign in respect of the interpretation of the Constitution of Western Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, for those of you who have a copy of the Constitution, which we have released to the general public for a long time, we're on chapter 5 of that Constitution, and we'll be talking about finance at its written in our Constitution. And then while we're preparing to speak on finance, we recently got hold of a report of the APC Committee on True Federalism. The report is volume 1. I think they will still have volume 2. The report speaks to the main report, the summary of their findings and the recommendation. Even though the report was titled Report of the APC Committee on True Federalism, we need to impress it on the young Yoruba that there is nothing called true or false federalism, which is a wrong description. Federalism is federalism. On the basis of that report and the fact that we will be speaking on finance, chapter 5 of this Constitution, we will share with you the all-purpose speech. This speech was made 53 years ago today, precisely on the 1st of May, 1967. We shared this speech just about an hour ago so that people can see, while I'm just going to read some section of this all-purpose speech. And this speech is the most important political speech any young Yoruba or every young Yoruba aspiring to vote and be voted for will have to read. It is the greatest honor of my life to have to sharpen your insight into this speech that was made 53 years ago. This speech came about as a result of the Igbo suspending the regional government and parliamentary system. That was when the Yoruba nation, for the first time, elected an Ashiwaju for Yoruba land. And they elected Awolowo as the Ashiwaju of Yoruba land. And as the Ashiwaju of Yoruba land, he gave this speech 53 years ago. And I have to tell you, virtually 99.9% of those who spoke at that meeting, they called them the leader of thoughts for the Yoruba nation. None of them is with us today. That means they are all died. But what they stated 53 years ago, my generation, our generation, we are still struggling to get that one thing that they desire 53 years ago. So I will just read a section of this speech to you. You can Google it yourself and see it. You remember we gave you the speech of Nnamdi Azikiwe that he made in 1949. I've always referred Igbo youth to that speech, where Nnamdi Azikiwe clearly defined the Igbo nation without the inclusion of Edo, Urobo, Ijo, Efik, Ibibio, or any other non-Igbo speaking. But majority of the Igbo don't read it. They're allowed to be fooled by Nnamdi Kanu, who is shouting Biafra all over the place, appropriating other people's land. This speech of Awolowo as the Ashiwaju of Yoruba land gave 53 years ago is still very much relevant to us. So if you want to type it using your internet so that you can follow us, you can see a copy on my profile, which we just circulated about an hour ago. The speech was titled, or Speech by Chief Obafemi Awolowo made to the Western leaders of thought in Ibadan on the 1st of May, 1967. Let me begin with the first paragraph. It's a long speech. I'm not going to read the whole of this speech, but I'm going to read what I consider the most important aspect of his teaching. Because today we are looking at the APC Committee on True Federalism, and we are discussing finance as part of our constitution. Chief Obafemi Awolowo began by saying, he said, the aim of a leader should be the welfare of the people whom he leads. I have used welfare to denote the physical, mental, and spiritual well-being of the people. With this aim fixed unflinchingly and unchangeably before my eyes, I consider it my duty, listening very well to his next statement. He said, I consider it my duty to Yoruba people in particular and to Nigerians in general. As a Yoruba citizen, your first aim in life is to make Yoruba land great. It's never to make Nigeria great. You make your homeland great first and foremost before you think about anyone else. That is how a people, intelligent people, that is how they behave. The Caucasians will think about the United States of America first and foremost before any other nation. The Caucasian will think about Caucasian first and foremost in United States of America before African America. That is observation. The English will think about England first and foremost before any other space. And the English in United Kingdom, they think about their children who are English first and foremost before any other thing. That is the reason why the English came to Yoruba land in 1851, stole our wealth, not to develop Yoruba land, but to build England. That is self-preservation. So Awolowo said that I consider it my duty to Yoruba people in particular and to Nigerians in general to place 4 imperatives before you this morning. He gave this speech 53 years ago as the Ashiwaju of Yoruba land. And in this speech, he made 4 demands for Yoruba to be part of Nigeria. 4 demands. I will quickly move down to these demands so that I will not have to waste too much of our time deliberating this. I have to refer to this speech 53 years ago today simply because of the action of the APC Committee on True Federalism and the fact that we will be speaking on finance, Chapter 5 of the Constitution of Western Nigeria. Awolowo continues. He said, and this is what is the most important for every young Yoruba to be aware of. I can assure you, and I've been saying this, Nigeria will go to war. That country will divide. There's no way you can see. You will see how Awolowo expresses selfishness, wisdom, and realism. He used those 3 words. Wisdom, realism, and selfishness that the Igbo and Hausa Fulani have been bringing to bear to destroy Nigeria. He stated it, you will see. He continued, he said, the dependence of the federal government on financial contribution from the regions. This and other such like demands I do not support. Awolowo was not speaking as an individual. He was elected by all other Yoruba as the Ashiwaju of Yoruba land because we were in crisis. That was what warranted his nomination as the leader of the Yoruba. And he spoke the mind, aims, objective, and aspiration of the Yoruba people 53 years ago. What he demands, you will see now. He said that the dependence of the federal government on financial contribution from the region, this and other such likes demands, I do not support. That the federal government cannot depend on the region for its sustenance. Listen. He said, demands such as these, if accepted, will lead surely to the complete disintegration of the federation which is not in the interest of our people, referring to the Yoruba people. But I wholeheartedly support the following demands, among others, which we consider reasonable and most of which are already embodied in our memoranda to the ad hoc committee. He made 4 demands for Yoruba nation to remain part of Nigeria. Number 1 of these 4 demands is this. He says that revenue should be allocated strictly on the basis of derivation. That is to say that the federal government has deducted its own share for its own services. The rest should be allocated to the region to which they are attributable. What Awolowo said on behalf of the Yoruba nation, number 1 demand, that revenue should be allocated strictly on the basis of derivation. That means if I pay VAT on this water in Yoruba land, that money should be retained in Yoruba land after the federal government has taken an agreed percentage of that money. When the Igbo came in 1966, they destroyed that system. That was what we were using under regional government. Igbo destroyed that system and said that the VAT that we paid on this tax for this bottle of water, everything must go to the federal government at the center. This, the Yoruba nation rejected via our leader, Awolowo. He said that this will bring about the end of Nigeria. He was saying this 53 years ago. Today, it is still being practiced. Every revenue generated from Yoruba land goes to Abuja. The money we get from our customs across Yoruba land goes to Abuja. The money we get from our immigration across Yoruba land goes to Abuja. The taxes paid across Yoruba land goes to Abuja. This is what Awolowo, on behalf of the Yoruba nation, rejected 53 years ago. Till today, it is still the case. He said that the Yoruba will not remain part of Nigeria if this do not change. It does not change, folks. Number 2 demands that Awolowo made of the federal government under Gowon, after the Hausa Fulani took the power away from the Igbo who centralized Nigeria. The second demand was this. Awolowo stated that the existing public debts of the federation should become the responsibility of the regions on the basis of the location of the projects in respect of each debt, whether internal or external. Awolowo stated that all the debt incurred by the federal government of Nigeria, whether internally generated debt or externally generated debt, maybe they borrow money from China, they borrow money from France, they borrow money from Germany, they borrow money from America, or they borrow money from England. Whatever debt that the Nigerian state has incurred, Yoruba nation will only pay for the project cited in Yoruba land. 53 years ago, that was the demand. What do you see? Has that changed? It has not changed. Buhari will go to China, borrow money to build railway, and he will use Yoruba wealth and our assets, our revenue and assets as collateral. Yet he will use that money to build railway in Hausa Fulani land. Then Yoruba children yet unborn will now be financing that debt. Awolowo rejected it 53 years ago. It is still the case 2020. Nothing has changed. I will tell you why nothing has changed. So Awolowo said 53 years ago that the debt that the federal government incurred, Yoruba will only pay back the debt if the project cited in Yoruba land, for the project cited in Yoruba land. So what Awolowo said is that if you borrow money from China to build second Niger bridge in Igbo land, Yoruba will not pay for it. Believe you me, we are not going to pay. Hausa Fulani might have it good now because they control the presidency. They will have it very, very bad when we take that presidency. And we are going to take it. I have absolute confidence in what I'm saying. We will take the presidency of Nigeria. All Nigeria will be history. So 53 years ago, that was the stand of our grandparents. 2020, Hausa Fulani and the Igbo are still borrowing money from abroad. When Okonjo-Iweala was there as your minister for finance, she borrowed a lot of money. After she's cleared our debt, she opened our waterways for Igbo businessmen to bring in all manners of goods, incurring debt in the process to be financed by the Yoruba children yet unborn. We would take the presidency, folks. That's what the liberals don't understand. Then the third demands that Awolowo made of the Nigerian government for Yoruba to be part of Nigeria. These demands were not just made, they were conditions set forth by our grandparents that these are the conditions under which Yoruba will be part of Nigeria. Number 3, it says that each region should have and control its own military and police force. This is what we call decentralization of the military and police force. These were not new things. YF has been saying all of this, right? And I keep saying to people who said to us that, oh, Adeyinka grandson is an extremely brilliant young man. He's so precocious, extremely intelligent. He's the greatest thing after sliced bread. You are all idiots. It is because we are reading. That is why we know. This is the difference between us, the conservative Yoruba, and the liberals Yoruba. Liberals don't read. That is why the only thing they do in their life is to attack Tinubu, take Tinubu away from the equation. They have nothing in their brain. If Tinubu sneezes, they discuss it. If he doesn't shake Oni of Ife, they discuss it. If Oni of Ife is shaking Tinubu, they discuss it. If Tinubu is not talking, they discuss it. This is the attribute of horrible souls. They've got nothing to give to the Yoruba nation except to bring us down. But our generation has changed the course of history. We will bring this Libra down by attacking them. Because we will not allow this to be passed to our children. Otherwise, it will be miserable for them. So that was the third demand that Awolowo made for Yoruba to be part of Nigeria, that we must have our own military. We must control our own police. Folks, go to Lagos State. They have about 26 military bases in Lagos State alone. Everything controlled by Fulani. Go to all the military bases in Yoruba land, controlled by Fulani. Go to our custom. We have 11 custom commands across Yoruba land, controlled by Hausa, Fulani, and Igbo. Go to our police in Yoruba land. Go and look at the leadership of the police in Yoruba land, controlled by Fulani and Igbo. 53 years ago, Awolowo, as the leader of thought, said, we don't want this. We want to control our own military. We want to control our own police. 53 years, our generation is still talking about the same thing. Some stupid Libra saying that they want to protest with placards, without guns, without chemical and biological weapons. So we should behave like Awolowo's generation that we're just talking. You don't talk to people who want to suppress and subjugate you. No. When Hausa Fulani says to you, Nigeria is not negotiable, it is because they control everything in Yoruba land. We would treat you likewise, Hausa Fulani and Igbo. Igbo will never accept regional government because they're controlling you, Yoruba. You don't fight this kind of people with protests, you fight them with guns. You fight them with chemical and biological weapons. That is the only time they will respect you. What do you think gives Fulani boldness? For 53 years, what Awolowo generation demanded for, we haven't gotten it. Not 0% has been given to us. Nothing. Why? Because Fulani has the backing of the English. You can't do anything to them because you don't have the kind of weapon that the English has. So when we say to you, you need the United States of America, we know what we are doing. It's not about emotion, it's more about logic. So for us to quickly move to the final demands that our Awolowo generation made, he said that with immediate effect, all military personnel and the police personnel should be posted to the regions of origins, to their regions of origin. It's the same thing we are asking 53 years ago. These were the demands. I said to you, tell the Igbo, control your police Control your military. All these IPOP guys shouting all over the world, put them in the military of the Igbo, put them in the police of the Igbo. Nnamdi Kanu will reject that. Said to these stupid Hausa Fulani youths that are always sitting in front of the TV camera, making threats, tell them to live in their space, control their military and police. They will tell you, no, one Nigeria coup. They must be police officer in Yoruba. They must be military personnel in Yoruba. And you see these guys? You see? So you want to protest with your fist with this kind of horrible souls from Hausa land, from Igbo land. You kill them with chemical and biological weapons. That is the only way they will get to respect you. Don't let anybody pretend to you that we are not at war. Nigeria is in the state of war. How can you make a simple demands like this? 4 demands. 1, revenue generated in Yoruba land should stay in Yoruba land. Simple. Revenue generated in Igbo land should be retained in Igbo land. Revenue generated in Hausa Fulani land should be retained in their space. We made this request 53 years ago. What are we having now? We are not having that. All the revenue generated in Yoruba land goes to Abuja. That's why you and I are living abroad. Miserable everywhere. Stupid Yoruba Libra have no clue about this. So why is it that Fulani has not allowed revenue generated in Yoruba land to stay in Yoruba land? Why is it that the Igbo are not supporting that the revenue generated in all the regions should stay in the region without going to Abuja? Why? Because they are not generating anything in their region. So they are stealing your wealth, Yoruba. It's the same way the English stole your wealth and enslaved you for 100 years. Igbo and Fulani, when they suspended regional government in 1963, that is 54 years ago. They've been enslaving you for 54 years. English that you like to abuse every now and then only enslave you for 100 years. So your contemporary blacks have enslaved you for 54 years. You should be ashamed of yourself. But what are you going to say? Amalgamation is your problem. This is what Awolowo said 53 years ago on behalf of the Yoruba nation. Why is it that we don't have it? Because your son is not the president of Nigeria. So how do we do it? You put your own flesh and blood, a full-blooded Yoruba citizen as the president of Nigeria. He will give you the demands that Awolowo made 53 years ago. Very simple. Awolowo said that you cannot be borrowing money from abroad and using Yoruba asset as your collateral. When you borrow the money, you go and build hospitals, you go and build schools, you go and build railways, you go and provide housing for the people in the north and the people in Igbo land, and you are using Yoruba revenue and assets as collateral for the loan. Awolowo said, we will not pay back. What are you doing since 53 years ago? You have been paying back all the debt. Yoruba wealth has been used to pay back all the debts. So what makes you foolish people? What has contributed to your foolishness? Pentecostalism is part of it. When Adeboye will open his mouth and talk shit that you shouldn't fight. When David Oyedepo will talk nonsense and tell you Jesus Christ is coming to save you. How come Jesus Christ has not come 53 years? My grandmother died at the age of 102. She did not see Jesus Christ. 53 years speech is still very relevant, very valid till today. Awolowo simply said, we want decentralization. Because when the Igbo took over, they centralized everything. He said, we want police and military to be devolved. Stupid people, Libra, they want to go and protest on 1st of October when you have centralized military with Fulani in charge. Why do you think that all the Boko Haram that have given up, why do you think that they are putting them in the military? Why do you think that the JTF, who were fighting Boko Haram in Kanuri, they have all been conscripted into the military? Because you need this military to suppress Yoruba people, because you are the owner of the world. If you don't have guns, if you don't control the presidency, you can't manage your own wealth. It is foreigners that will manage it for you. So some people will tell you, if you talk about chemical weapon, they will arrest you. Idiot. English has more weapons than you, Yoruba. Declare war against the English, whether they are not going to come with atomic bomb to kill you. So you think atomic bomb is good to be used? Is it lawful to use atomic bomb? Is it lawful to own atomic bomb, to own nitrogen bomb, to own nuclear bomb, to own radioactive material to kill people? Is it lawful? Why is it that the English have all these weapons? You Yoruba, you don't have it. Common atomic bomb you don't have, but the English has it. Is it lawful for them to have that you cannot have? Don't let anybody bullshit you. If you don't have chemical weapon, Hausa, Fulani, and Igbo will continue to enslave you. You said you've been to Harvard. Oh, I'm attending UR. UR is the greatest university in Yoruba land. Ife is the best. Oh, I'm from UNILAG. I graduated from UNILAG. You can't produce chemical and biological weapon to defend your civilization. Stupid people. 53 years ago, Awolowo said, let us devolve the military and the police. He added that Yoruba citizens should only work in the police and military Yoruba land. Igbo citizens should go and work in their military in their space and their police in their space. Do you have that? So you see, he went on. Awolowo went on. He said, if we are to live in harmony with one another as Nigerians, it is imperative that these demands and others which are not related should be met without further delay by those who have in total resisted them. Who resisted all this? Just four simple things. And you talk, oh, amalgamation ti baye waje, oh, I want liberal new. I fẹ́ go to do one republic. Amalgamation here ò dá. Àwọn English tó dá wa kò olóṣì ni wọ́n ọ̀dẹ̀. English tó dá yín pọ̀ tó fún yín regional government. Táwọn ọmọ Igbo bàjẹ́. English tó fún yín good system. Táwọn ọmọ Igbo dànù tó ń jí owó yín. They will be abusing English. English, how they enslave us. They enslave us, they colonize us. Who controls your waterway now? Is it not Fulani and the Igbo? Who controls your military now? Who controls your police now? Is it not Igbo and Hausa Fulani? Or there? You want freedom. You don't want to use weapon. Go look at America. Those who fought with weapon, they became the leader of America. Look at Northern Ireland, the IRA member who fought with weapon and bomb. They're still leading that region now. Winston Churchill also fought against Hitler. He was recalled to come and lead the war. If you preach not violence, they are going to kill you, like Sarah. If you preach not violence in the face of violence, why is it that they haven't been able to get me? To preach gently, oh, God bless you. Oh, Lord bless his Lord, God Lord. Oh, Jesus, we praise in Jesus. Oh, Igbo, please, can you let us have regional government, please? Hausa Fulani, please, can you have regional government? God will bless you. We don't want to fight. Everything is God. Peace until they will have killed me. In case you don't remember, the federal military government of Nigeria threatened Yoruba, you saying that they are going to bring Python dance to Yoruba. You have forgotten. We stopped them. The young Yoruba for freedom. We said to them, we're going to deploy chemical weapon. They stopped. They stopped. We were willing to deploy chemical weapon. That was why we advised the leaders of the Yoruba that they should go and bring in bandages and paper towels and station this across Lagos because you will release chemical weapon that day. Fulani stopped. Continue to plead with people who want to destroy you. They will finish you all completely. So don't let anybody bullshit you. 53 years ago, that was the demand of the Yoruba. 53 years ago. What do we have now? What do we have now? APC, Hausa Fulani APC, led by Nasiru El-Rufai, came up with the report of the APC Committee on True Federalism. It was 61 pages report. All this noise by Libra. The report is in the open. We just obtain it. It has been in the open. Yoruba Libra, even if they have a copy, because it's 61 pages, but they can have sex with all the junkies. They can go to club and party and do shit, smoke marijuana, snuff cocaine, and play big boy. They can't sit down to read. That's their nature. We absorb everything, we study everything, we make observation, we do research, we read everything. So that we can guide you aright, so that we can contribute to the development of our space. 61 pages document. Do you know what we noted? Do you know what that shows? That document says that irrespective of the party, whether you are in APC or you are in PDP, the ideology and the way of governance will always be the same. Whether a Hausa man is in APC or PDP, they don't want a return to regional government. Whether an Igbo is in APC or PDP, they don't want a return to regional government. Whether a Yoruba is in PDP or APC, they want a return to regional government. That is what that document shows. And then the document, we are not disappointed with the document. We are not disappointed. It says the Hausa Fulani, which are in the northwest, the Kanuri in northeast, and some part of the middle belt in north central, they don't want a return to regional government. They are enjoying the unitary system. I can see some conservatives circulating that the middle belt are no longer part of the Arewa Consultative Forum. Do you know how many times they've opted out of that forum? They are used to it. They are playing politics. It is the PDP members of the Arewa Consultative Forum that opted out. It is all about politics targeted at Tinubu. They are always opting out. Tinubu is going to fuck a lot of them up. He knows. Look at Buhari. When he was president, he was pro-Fulani. When he was out of president in the 80s, he was pro-Fulani. When he became president, he's pro-Fulani. Tinubu has been pro-Yoruba since he was born. All these liberals that are condemning him, they have always been pro-Igbo. There's a latest research that we've done. Believe you me, we interviewed Yoruba, half Yoruba citizen. Those who have Yoruba as father with Igbo mother, and those who have Igbo as father with Yoruba mothers. Both of these half Yoruba, they are always anti-Yoruba people. That's a new research that we are going to talk on another topic in future. We are still updating it. I have to read it, and I have to show my objection to certain statements that were made, and I have to make requests of our guys who have done the research to do more finding in a particular area that I disagree with before we publicly speak about it. That is the finding. So it is very deadly for the Yoruba nation. So we will be coming up with a policy that we will not give power to half Yoruba citizens. Political power. They can work, they can do job, they can live in Yoruba land, they can do. When it comes to the topmost power, the secret of our being, of our nation, no, you will have to be full-blooded Yoruba. That's why we are warning Yoruba women. Stop opening your legs for Igbo men. Your children are going to face discrimination. Pure discrimination. That's what they are going to face. So you, from this APC report, Hausa Fulani don't want anything other than this unitary system. Do you know, when I was reading this report with our director of intelligence, I was like, how do we make this Hausa Fulani torture them, torture them so that they would know what we Yoruba have faced? If Tinubu should take the presidency, he put Yoruba in charge of the police, Yoruba in charge of the military, Yoruba in charge of the Navy, Yoruba in charge of the Air Force, Yoruba in charge of immigration, Yoruba in charge of the waterways, Yoruba in charge of the seaport, Yoruba in charge of the airport, Yoruba in charge of the police, military, prison, and everything. Yoruba will be in charge of all of that. Then you will now see, and again I thought about that Tinubu should just remove some governors in Hausa Fulani land, even if they are elected. I believe in organized violence. If you violate me, and if you have violated us, we won't forgive you. We'll find a way to take a revenge. I was just thinking that Tinubu should even remove, like Obasanjo did. You should just remove, but Tinubu is a democratic person. But that's my thought process. You should remove about 5 of the 7 Hausa Fulani governors and put administrators there who will be Yorubas. That is when Hausa Fulani will reset their mind that they have to reject this unitary system. Otherwise, they are so entrenched because they have ruled for far so long. They control all the Yoruba jobs. They control the military, they control the police, they control the immigration, they control. That's why they've always been pro-unitary system. Before, they were pro-regional government. So if we must reset their brain, we must impose Yoruba on them too, so that they can feel the pain. Fulani don't come to England to wash toilets, to do care job, to work as carer, to work in supermarket, to work as doorman security. They are all over Yoruba, taking over our jobs. They don't have crude oil, they control NNPC. They don't have waterways, they control our seaport, they control our waterways, they control everything. That's why they've enjoyed this unitary system. That is the report of the APC showing that Hausa Fulani are rejecting a return to regional government. The only thing they desire is unitary system. Likewise, the Igbo. If you truly want change as Yoruba people, you have to put a man that has the strength of character to bring about change. You know, if we have not been calling Yoruba leaders to negotiate with America, Tinubu's camp will be shaking now because the horrible English self-serving career politician will be threatening them with assassination. They will be threatening Tinubu. You know that they are trying to kill Tinubu with radioactive material. You think he doesn't have it? I think he has his guys, maybe from Israel or the Germany, as security. You think English will not try to kill him with radioactive material? You think the Fulani want him to get the presidency? Think about these things, guys. Our generation has been born to use chemical and biological weapons to defend Yoruba civilization. 53 years ago, what we have been talking about, decentralization of the military, decentralization of the police, devolution of power, that we control our revenue. It was the same thing Awolowo was talking about 53 years ago, yet we're still talking about it. If we don't use force, our children will talk about the same thing. So, in fact, as a matter of fact, by the time it gets to our children, they will have resigned themselves to fate that they are born slave. That's why Fulani say they are born to rule. It is because of the military backing of the shit English that are supporting them. So that's what we say to Yoruba leader, idiot. You want to do Dua Republic by selling t-shirts. You're selling face cap. You are defrauding people. If you truly want to do Dua Republic, you will be buying guns and giving it to the people instead of the fucking shit t-shirt and face cap that you are asking people to donate. Donate if you are easy that gba ẹ̀yin elebi tem náwó àwọn èèyàn tó yẹ kó wọlé kan gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn. Lójúmọ́ náà sọ Tinubu ti fẹ́. Ṣé mọ̀ pé nítorí pé à ń jáde regularly, articulate, we look smart, we look fresh. They don't know that we're conservative. We're always looking decent. And she'll be weary now. So they just concluded in their heart, kí ni motivation àwọn people yìí? Wọ́n ti gba baba ńlá owó lọ́wọ́ Tinubu. Nígbà tó rí mi pé yà ò jẹ mí, pẹ̀lú gbogbo wàhálà ọlọ́pàá tí mò ń face, mo yìí look decent, náà ni mo yìí look smart, náà ni mo yìí look handsome. So wọ́n ti conclude nínú wọn pé owó wà nínú agitation yìí o. Báwọn náà ṣe torí ìbọn nìyẹn, wọ́n ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí gbowó nìyẹn. Ẹ fún wa lówó, ẹ fún wa lówó. We've been running YF since 2012. Àgbowó lọ́wọ́ èèyàn kan ní until 2018. They can make it compulsory. Ká máa announce owó lójoojúmọ́. If not for the fact that pé à ń ṣe case pẹ̀lú court, pẹ̀lú àwọn olóṣì ọlọ́pàá yẹn tó arrest me. We don't just mentioning money every time like these stupid liberals do. They just think that àwọn boys rówó gan ṣá, they cannot try it. They have no clue, they have no idea. Tinubu teams harvest information. The federal government harvests information from what we speak and what we say. Because we're only speaking nothing but the truth. My girlfriend doesn't believe that. She says that I lie sometimes. Well, I speak nothing but the truth. Because she wants to see me every time. But when I'm not picking the call, she said I'm with another woman. Oma paro ni. I won't be in wala. So you can see that. You can see that. If you look at the content 3.2 to 3.8 of the APC report on the issues of political structure, fiscal federalism, devolution of power, forms of government, and several others, that section explicitly confirmed that the Hausa Fulani will go to war. Believe me, that was El-Rufai wrote that, he approved it anyway, and his committee. That section confirms that Hausa Fulani will go to war if there is a regional government. The moment we are able to deal with English business interests in Yoruba land, you will see how Hausa Fulani will be pressing you, Yoruba. That is when Hausa Fulani will be saying to you, it is Yoruba that are sustaining Nigeria. They will be pressing you. You will see how Igbo will switch. That is what I told you yesterday, that diplomacy simply means tit for tat. You do shit to me, I do shit to you. Fulani have the confidence that Nigeria will not go back to regional government. Fulani has the confidence that Nigeria will not go back to devolution of power to the region. It is the same confidence with the Igbo. Where is that confidence coming? It is coming from the English establishment. If we can undermine English businesses across Yoruba, you will see how English will respect us. The moment the signal gets to Hausa Fulani and the Igbo, they will start praising Yoruba. That's when they will switch. Look at all these Yoruba liberals that are abusing Tinubu. Wait until Tinubu becomes president. This useless old man called Ayo Adebanjo, this horrible man called Yinka Odumaki, this useless man Femi Fani-Kayode, and the rest of them who are in Yoruba World Congress, and then this idiot who gang themselves, call them Yoruba Summit Group, all of them, they will be praising Tinubu because the only thing they look for is money. They are not looking for the collective good of the Yoruba. I made a post this afternoon that I look forward to a day that young Yoruba will use social media for socialization. We're only using it for politics. Politics to make argument, to do all manners of things. The moment Tinubu is made president and it devolves political power to the region, young Yoruba will use their time and brain and money to fund economic growth and development in Yoruba. We will only use social media for socialization. All of these politics that you use our Facebook for, we use our Twitter for, will be gone because each people will be busy developing their space. Guys will be going to their job 9 to 5, coming back home to be with their children, coming back home to love their wives, and then we will be able to shape and grow the economic of our space. Everybody is just writing about politics. Even if you study agriculture, you have opinion about debt management. If you study Yoruba, you want to speak about security. Ridiculous. Tinubu will only change this. And there is nothing much for Tinubu to do to set Nigeria working. Devolve power to the regions. Simple. Let the region deal with their health, deal with their education, deal with their law and order, deal with their environment. Set it straight. Tinubu will just be enjoying himself. The work will be on those who will be the prime minister of their respective region. That's all. It will be at peace. All this attention to go to the presidency will fizzle down. All this desperation will come to nothing. People will want to be prime minister of their region because that is where the action will be. This is what all of us said 53 years ago that we cannot get. From the same APC report on the Committee on True Federalism, believe you me, after reading that report, I knew, it's not that I knew, we've always known this. I am more convinced that the only desire of the Igbo is for Fulani to always be president. Igbo do not wish to be president of Nigeria. Just wish it away. That's not their intention. As long as Fulani people are in charge of the presidency of Nigeria, that is the desire of the Igbo. Why? They want the retention of the unity system. They know that only Fulani can keep this unity system. If the Igbo must vote for Yoruba person to be president of Nigeria, they will always look for half Yoruba, a compromised Yoruba citizen. That was why they rooted for Obasanjo when the entire Yoruba nation and the South and the Kanuri people voted for Olufalaye. Igbo don't wish to be president of Nigeria, just wish it away. Look at their attitude. As long as Fulani is the president, Igbo people are okay. Because they know only Yoruba will bring down Nigeria. And they will see, you see, the things will change. I think, let me sharpen your insight. If you look at all elections from 1999, Hausa Fulani are always coming out, that they are coming to contest. They are coming to contest. They are always coming out. 1999, they came out. Before Obasanjo won the election, Hausa Fulani came out for the 1999 election. Hausa Fulani came out for the 2003 election. Hausa Fulani came out for the 2007 election. They came out for the 2011 election. They came out for the 2015 election. They came out for the 2019 election. They always come out 2 years before any election. Look at now. How many Hausa Fulani do you see coming out? They know that Tinubu is not Awolowo. Tinubu is not MKO Abiola. These two Yoruba leaders, they believe in non-violence. Tinubu believes in violence. His principle is very simple. If you violate me, I'll violate you. You look at what he said when Iba Gani Adam and other fraction of OPC were bringing out poster in Lagos. Tinubu sọ pé kon dá sẹ́ríà fún wọn, kon attack wọn, kon ṣìnà fún wọn big time. That's how to bá fẹ́ survive ayé. That's how you have to behave. Èèyàn pa ẹ́, òun embrace ẹ̀. Èèyàn fẹ́ pa ẹ́ rádà, òun embrace ẹ̀. Òun associate men tó fẹ́ pa ẹ́, tó fẹ́ gbẹ̀mí ẹ̀. Ó máa yá mútu ẹ̀ dànù ni. Ìwọ ò mọ̀ pé àwọn tó burú jù, tó bá fẹ́ wo àwọn tó ń ṣe Christianity nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, àwọn tó wicked jù ló máa ń type nǹkan lórí Christian ló máa ń gbàdúrà for long. Tó bá wo àwọn tó máa ń type nǹkan lórí Christianity lórí Facebook, lórí WhatsApp, lórí Twitter, tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀rọ̀ Jésù náà sọ, wọ́n wicked dèṣù lọ, wọ́n evil minded, so wọ́n máa ń fi religion cover evil wọn ni. So téèyàn bá ń fẹ́ ṣe ẹ́ pa tó wá mẹ́ embrace ẹ̀ tó sọ pé Ọlọ́run ní kíkà máa dáríjì, ó máa pa wọ́n máa gbé ẹ̀gbìn tí ẹ máa bàjẹ́. Lórí bí Tinubu ràn ẹ̀ tó bá violate ẹ̀, ó máa violate ẹ̀. So do you see Fulani coming out saying they want to contest? They ought to have been coming out. All manners of idiot Hausa Fulani will now be coming out. The battleground is Lagos. Yoruba people are everywhere. In Epe, we are there. In Ikorodu, we are there. In Badagry, we are there. In Ikeja, we are there. In Lagos Mainland, we are there. That is our homeland. We are going to shut it down, destroy everything. If you destroy Lagos, there's no money to pay for public services. So you see, Igbo will never change this unitary system. It is their meal ticket. That is their survival. You take that away, you have finished the Igbo completely. And let me say this, and this is what our Director of Intelligence sharpened my insight into. He said that you can only be driven to change what you don't like. Hausa Fulani like the current system, because that is how they are able to control the Yoruba. Igbo, they like the current unitary system. That is their ticket to come and populate Yoruba with their people. These people will never take Nigeria back to the regional government. They will never support parliamentary system. It is what you don't like that you are driven to change. If you put a full-blooded Yoruba citizen as the president of Nigeria, like Tinubu, you are going to get to the Oduduwa Republic, because he doesn't like the system. There is no Yoruba. This is our conclusion from the APC committee. Whether that Yoruba is in the APC or in PDP, as long as he is a full-blooded Yoruba citizen. Look at Fayose. If you make Fayose the president of Nigeria, you think Fayose will continue with this unitary system? Fayose is a full-blooded Yoruba citizen. He's married to a Yoruba woman. It's unlike Seyi Makinde, who is married to an Ijaw woman. That is why he's playing liberalism. And look at what Fayose is doing. He's speaking out the truth, because he's a full-blooded Yoruba citizen, married to a Yoruba woman. You put him as president of Nigeria, he will never continue with this unitary system. So this is the conclusion that we want to pass across to Yoruba youth. Whether you are in PDP or APC, as long as you are a full-blooded Yoruba, you don't like this unitary system. It is destroying us. It is what? Destroying the fabric of our society. So folks, now you have a copy of the Constitution. Let us go to Chapter 5 of the Constitution. Page 190, under Finance. Establishment of Consolidated Revenue Fund. That is where all the money, taxes paid in Yoruba land, that is the fund, that is where the money goes. Section 55 of the Constitution of Western Nigeria, subsection 1 says, all revenues or other money raised or received by the region shall be paid in toll and from one consolidated revenue fund. Whether it is income tax, education tax, withholding tax, stamp duty, luxury tax, any form of taxes or petroleum profit tax, you name it. Any revenue collected in our region goes to the Consolidated Revenue Fund. That was the system. But the Igbo came in 1966 and suspended that system, saying that all the money collected from Yoruba land must go into the federation account at the center. Igbo destroyed Nigeria. It is not the amalgamation that destroyed Nigeria. It is the Igbo people that destroyed Nigeria. Under regional government, we did not need federal government monthly allocation. We did not receive security votes. We did not get constituency allowance from the federal government to fund our education, to fund our infrastructure, to fund security, or to fund our public services. No, because the money generated in Yoruba land goes to the Consolidated Revenue Fund to be used solely by Yoruba people until the Igbo destroy that. Let me tell you three things that are funding corruption in Nigeria. And one is funding the armed conflict in Nigeria too. The monthly allocation was never with us. Excuse me. I want you to take note of this, guys. We rant about corruption, corruption, corruption. We say corruption is the problem of Nigeria. The monthly allocation is responsible for corruption. You take money from Yoruba land, you take money from the Niger Delta, you move them to Abuja. There's nothing that is coming from Igbo land. Absolutely nothing coming from Kanuri land. There is nothing reasonably that is coming from Hausa Fulani land. Nothing substantial is coming from the Middle Belt. It is the Yoruba and the Niger Delta that are contributing money that all other regions are spending in Nigeria. This is fueling corruption. There is no other country where they do monthly allocation. They don't do that in Ghana. They don't do that in South Africa. At least these are the two countries that we like to compare ourselves with in Nigeria. Another one that is fueling corruption, and this is responsible for armed conflicts. This is where armed conflicts is getting their money. Security votes. It is money. It's a monthly allocation that is allocated to the 36 states by the federal government. I read a report about these security votes. In Rivers State, for them to get more security votes, they paid militants to cause trouble so that the federal government can allocate more money for security votes. In Borno State, they are doing the same thing. In Middle Belt, some of their governors are deliberately constituting nuisance to get high security votes. They are doing that everywhere, except in Yoruba land. If you want to end armed conflicts in Nigeria, let us go back to regional government. If we go back to regional government, there will not be monthly allocation. There will not be security votes. I'm coming to the third. Constituency allowance. I'm coming to that. So if you want to end Boko Haram, you want to end militancy, you want to end armed conflict in Nigeria, you stop this horrible system of monthly allocation, security vote, and constituency allowance. Let the region generate their own money. You will see that the prime minister of each region would generate enough money to take care of its people. But when you expect monthly allocation in terms of security vote to come from Abuja every month, you constitute nuisance, you cause conflict so that you can get more of the security vote. These are all politics. Tinubu will change Nigeria. I can tell you that for a fact because he's a very smart man. He knows all of this problem. He knows. And he has expert, brilliant guys working with him. If you want to end insurgency in Nigeria, you devolve political power to the regions. When a prime minister, so you have Kanuri region now, as the prime minister of Kanuri region, he will go and negotiate with Boko Haram and plead with them because they are a citizen of his space. He will bring them into government, let them control and manage the police and security apparatus in that region. They will know how much they are generating. If they get nothing from the federal government, they will not employ their youth to go into armed struggle because they want to get security votes. I have a lot of militant friends. They have always helped me. I help them. I write their speeches for them. I write their press statement for them. I give them ideas. They respect me so much. I once stated that if I visit a Yoruba friend, I'm not likely going to eat in his house. But if I have to go to my Ijaw friend, I eat in their houses because they have enormous respect for me. They always admire me to be an Ijaw citizen, that they will have achieved a lot. But you know, Yoruba, you behave like idiots most times. You just hate people that have brain because you don't have brain. You are not smart. You just hate somebody that is smarter than you. That's not how English people think or the Caucasian think. The moment they see a smart person, they embrace this person so that they can use him to develop their space. But you, Yoruba, Libra, because you are half Igbo, you want to kill your best mind. So this is what is responsible for conflicts, armed struggle across Nigeria, because everybody look up to the center. You ask Awusa Fulani to generate their own funds to build hospitals. So the little taxes they get from their space, you think they will allow armed struggle to fester in their region? There won't be money to fund these things. But you have security votes. So governor manipulates some boys to create a problem. So they run to the federal government and say, we need more allocation for security vote. If the federal government tells them, no, that has ended, Tinubu will end all of this. Another thing that is fueling corruption in Nigeria is the constituency allowance. You see, the security vote is actually money for the governors to spend as they like without budgetary allocation. The constituency allowance is money for the National Assembly members to spend as they like. So that is why all of these politicians, they don't want things to change. Under regional government, the people come first. Under unitary government, the politicians come first. So if you are ordinary folks and you want a better life for yourself, for your children, you will reject this unitary system because it's only serving the interests of the politicians. And some stupid people like to use the word elites. Oh, Nigerian elite, there's nothing like that. They say, oh, Nigerian elite gang up together to treat the people anyhow. It's a lie. If truly Nigerian elite gang up together, Fulani will not be desperate to rule every time. They will give it to the Yoruba elites to rule. So all the elites will steal the money, like you alleged. They will then give it to the Igbo elites to rule, so that all the elites will steal the money. But that is ridiculous. Saying it is Nigerian elites that are holding the rest of the country down. It is this, and it's a bullshit lies. If truly Fulani will not be thinking day and night on how to stop Tinubu now, they will just hand over to him and say, okay, Yoruba elites, go and eat your food, your own, so that all of us eat together. They know that if Tinubu get the power, Nigeria is likely to come down. So English is thinking for Fulani on how to destroy the prospect of a full-blooded Yoruba taking the presidency. We're going to show English. You see that we're going to deal with Standard Chartered Bank. I want that bank to go down in Yoruba land. They can move their head office to Igbo land or move their head office to Hausa Fulani land. We have to replace them with an American bank. It belongs to the English, and they have no love for us. They have no respect for us. Yet all of their businesses are in Yoruba land. Every now and then they support minority Fulani to rule over us. So we must undermine their business interests. So you see, guys, under regional government, all the taxes collected in Yoruba land go into one consolidated revenue fund, not to Abuja. When the Igbos suspended that system, they changed the rule that all the money you pay in Yoruba must go to Abuja. You know how Abuja share your money? If you read the Constitution of Nigeria, under public finance, section 162, subsection 1, subsection 2, and subsection 3, go and read it. It's something we've read. Liberals don't know what we are talking about. That's why they have no woman capital. That's why they are shithead. Let me tell you the secret. I did something this morning. I just said to one of my colleagues in Huawei that, look, I want to monitor the state of mind of this Libra. I want to see what they are saying. How do they do it? Did you tell me which one should I watch? And they gave me one guy, Olayomi Koiki. So fortunately, it was live today, and I watched him for about an hour. Hello, sign petition. I'm about to do a report for you. I need a sign petition. I need the 20 million people. I just type for you, and you will buy. They are not coordinated. So I want to sorrow. I want you more so. To bá kan gba wọn for ti lásán ó lè máa jáde ànú sínú igbó ni ẹ fẹ́ gbọ́dọ̀ Oòduà Republic pẹ̀lú uncoordinated manner tẹ́tí ń ṣe nǹkan. First, wọn ní historical background, wọn mọ bí Nàìjíríà ṣe débi tó dé. Àwọn Igbo fún wọn propaganda, wọn ní 1914 amalgamation ló cause trouble wọn. Àwọn Igbo tún gbé propaganda lé wọn lórí, wọn ní Tinubu ló bá ya wọn sùn, Tinubu ló bá yí bàbá wọn jẹ́. Òṣìtàn ṣe nìyẹn. But wọ́n ti sọ̀rọ̀ ti pẹ́ nígbà táwọn ọlọ́pàá sọ pé ká máa sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn for 8 months. Tẹ́ bá notice ìgbà tí gbogbo wọn spring out nìyẹn tí wọ́n jẹ́ ká sọ̀rọ̀. Àwa ń sọ̀rọ̀ every time. A máa ní program ni, a máa plan gbogbo nǹkan tá a máa ṣe ni, a dẹ̀ máa ti inform àwọn èèyàn ahead of time. A dẹ̀ ń deliberate bá mọ gbogbo bí tá à ń lọ, a mọ bí tá a máa yà sí. They're just liberals. See, I'm just saying to the Yoruba youths, don't fall for their gimmick. We can waste life. We will get to the Oòduà Republic, and the means and ways to get to the Oòduà Republic have been very clearly stated by YYF. And we are glad the APC leadership is working towards that. Let us secure the presidency of Nigeria. You will see that there will be devolution of power. You will see. Even as a matter of fact, the devolution of power might be announced even from the United States of America when Tinubu goes to meet President Trump. He has his own style and he's a very brilliant man. He will do the right thing. So all the Yoruba, you just have to key into this demand that YF has introduced. Some Libra would say to me when I watch them abusing me, they said that pay grandson Amarobiako Umikolo Botoni. Pé kó jẹ́ ká wá ṣiṣẹ́ ká wá fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká jọ ṣiṣẹ́ papọ̀. Wọ́n kan sọ sínú mi pé àwọn olófò gẹ́tù. Ká jọ ṣiṣẹ́ papọ̀. Àwọn ló máa ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ fún unity. Ẹ jẹ́ ká unite. Nǹkan tó ń sọ fún yín ni pé tó bá wà pẹ̀lú wọn, wọ́n á pa ẹ́ dànù. Kò sí bọ́n ṣe lè change. Tinubu yẹn náà lọ máa bú lọ, wọn lè change láyé wọn. Libra ò mọ̀wé. Ẹni tí ò bá dẹ̀ ti lọ́pọlọ tó bá bá associate, ó máa jealous of you on ordinary simple thing. Ìwọ tó ti lọ forgọ́tà, tó ti lọ fọwọ́ kògbẹ́, tó kàn relax lọ́jọ́ kan lásán, Libra kan rí àròbí aláìfẹ́ ti change ni, ó máa bínú ẹni, wọ́n máa gossip ẹni. Àwọn people yẹn ya wèrè gan o. Àwọn olófò ni wọ́n o. So let us all continue, guys. So you can see, under regional government, all the revenue generated in Yoruba land stays in Yoruba land. They were not going outside. But unlike the Constitution of Nigeria, after the suspension of regional government, under public finance that I was saying, Section 162, subsection 1 and 2, I know it off my head. Section 1 says that all the money in Nigeria collected from the region will have to be taken to Abuja. federation accounts. There was nothing called federation accounts under regional government. It was consolidated account revenue fund for the regions. But they changed it to Igbo and Hausa Fulani. So they take all the money into the federation account, and you are going to share the money back to where you collected it. But with some parameters: number of states, number of local government, land mass, population figure, senatorial district, and the rest of nonsense. That is the reason why Fulani would say to you that Nigeria is not negotiable. You will see when Tinubu takes presidency, Yoruba controls everything in Nigeria. Everything. The Fulani will be shouting, crying, "Hey, no, how can Yoruba be controlling everything? We are one Nigeria, cool." But when they are ruling, they control the police, they control the military, they control the navy, they control immigration, they control everything. When we do like that, they start shouting. Igbo have no choice. They will be, that's when they will change. You will see all this horrible Igbo. And let Tinubu be made president of Nigeria. They will change 365 degrees, saying, look, Yoruba deserve the presidency. They are the people that are funding Nigeria. So we Igbo people, we support Yoruba nation. We support Tinubu presidency. You will see Igbo saying that they are the one who made Tinubu president. The same people who antagonize Awolowo, antagonize Abiola, antagonize Falai, who are also antagonizing Tinubu. It is good to have power. Look at Caucasian in America. They have the power in that country. Look at the English in the United Kingdom. They are the leveler of power. Why do you think the Fulani minority are so bold? Why do you think the Fulani minority are everywhere, enjoying life, control NNPC, control everything? Because they control the presidency. So what stops us? What makes us slaves when we are the owner of the wealth? So we will control the presidency, but I believe that we will do this with organized violence because these guys are unwilling to stop. If you look at section 55, subsection 2, chapter 5, under finance of the Constitution of Western Nigeria, it says, no money shall be withdrawn from the consolidated revenue fund of the region except to meet expenditure that is charged upon the fund by this constitution. Today, that is no longer there. Your money from Apapa, they take it, zoom, goes to the Federation account at Abuja. Foreigners that are bringing in foreign exchange to invest into businesses in Yoruba land, not in Igbo land, not in Hausa Fulani land, the taxes they pay, everything goes to Abuja. Under subsection 3, it says, no money shall be withdrawn from any public fund of the region other than the consolidated revenue fund, unless the issue of those money has been authorized by regional law. Nobody authorizes Hausa Fulani to be taking our money. Every money you pay in Yoruba land does not stay in Yoruba land anymore. This is the handiwork of the Igbo to destroy you. This is it. Authorization of expenditure from consolidated revenue fund. That is section 56 of the Constitution, subsection 1 says, the minister of the government of the region responsible for finance, that is the minister for finance, shall cause to be prepared and lay before both legislative houses of the region in each financial year estimates of the revenues and expenditure of the region for the following financial year. That is budget. You cannot just spend money from the consolidated revenue account of the Yoruba region without a budget. The budget will explain for every year how much we are going to get as revenue, what will be our expenditure. The head of expenditure contained in the estimate shall be included in a bill to be known as as an appropriation bill, providing for the consolidated revenue fund of the region of the sum necessary to meet the expenditure and the appropriation of those sum for purposes specified therein. Sometimes that you can do budget. Maybe you overspend or you underspend. You have to bring another appropriation bills to the house to be passed upon before you can spend additional money. I do not wish to read more about that. So I believe you will find the time to read more about authorization of expenditure from consolidated fund. But you have noticed that everything you own as Yoruba people has been taken away from you via simple action, the suspension of your constitution by foreigners. And our children are taught to hate white people. Everything, white has made your life miserable. Everything we say, white people. She white people no suspend constitution. She black Igbo. She white people don't control police in Yoruba. She white people don't control military in Yoruba. She white ni Isha Hausa Fulani dúdú ni. But gbogbo ìgbésí ayé problem yìí àwọn funfun ni. Ẹ̀yin tó rí yín ti dàrú. So guys, you can read up on authorization of expenditure in advance of appropriation bill, contingency fund, and let me talk about one thing I think is very important: remuneration of governor and certain other offices. And if we have continued with this constitution, believe you me, Igbo people will not be giving money to Oni of Ife. He won't even take it. Using money to lobby Oni of Ife so that Oni of Ife can talk in public in their interests. You don't know the power of that office. Section 59 of the Constitution of Western Nigeria, subsection 1 says, there shall be paid to the holders of the offices mentioned in subsection 4 of this section such salary as may be prescribed by the legislature of the region. Who are these people? Subsection 4 of section 59 says, the offices aforesaid are the office of governor, president of the Court of Appeal, or justice of appeal of the region, chief justice or other judge of the High Court of the region, member of the Electoral Commission of the region, member of the Public Service Commission of the region, and director of audit of the regions. These are people that they were referring to their salaries in that particular section. The office of Oni of Ife was highly paid. I think he earned the most. But today, I told you, local government chairmen, they get more money than our obas. So that's why Igbo people will go to Oni of Ife and say, we are giving this to you, billions of naira, so that Oni of Ife can speak out in their favor. Because we have reduced that office. It is not our own making. It was the Igbo who suspended the constitution. That is why nobody respects the Oni of Ife. Nobody respects the Alafin of Oyo. We don't. That's why you see Esabod talking down at Oni of Ife. That's why you see all manners of people looking at. I don't really like to talk about the Yoruba Obas, except to say to you that I disagree with the 10,000 Obas that we have, which we are still working on the 87 Obas that were part of the House of Obas under regional government. Other than the fact that there are too many Obas in Yoruba land, which I am against, but the office of Oni of Ife is your head of state. How many of the respect Queen of England? Clayton respect Oba Spain, Oba Belgium. So, but you want die. Yeah, I might blame one. Yeah, I want balance Chishikushe, so. Kilo respect from office of Oni of Ife. Because so one bed, I want local government chairman, but what do you want? I want back on by 10,000 Lushu. Your natural leader. The Constitution recognizes the remuneration of the office of Oni of Ife. Because kò sí owó yẹn ń bẹ̀ mọ́, torí ẹ̀ làwọn ọmọ àlè Ìgbò tó ti pààyàn nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tó ti ta fake drug fún yín tó yẹ pé kò ní sanction gbogbo wọn lọ gbowó bọ́ nínú ilé. Ọ̀ní àkọsápò ni nígbà tá ti sọ position yẹn di yẹ̀yẹ́. But abára àwọn òyìnbó tó ṣe ń ṣọba wọn nígbà tí English wá tó wá colonize yín, wọ́n destroy àwọn ọba yín because àwọn náà ní ọba nílùú wọn. Ó ní respect tí kò ń sọ bí mo ṣe máa ń bú àwọn ìlú ìtó politician àwọn ni mò ń bú, mi ò ta sí queen rí. Bí mo ṣe máa ń bú àwọn English tó, mi ò tó bẹ́ẹ̀. Òyìnbó lọ́ba, ó fi àwọn ọba yín sí the top political position. Igbo lọ́ba, ó bà constitution yín jẹ́, àwọn tí ò ní lárí. That's why they just sọ fún yín pé tó bá allow àwọn tí ò ní lárí láti wọ̀lú yín, wọ́n máa bà yé àwọn obìnrin yín jẹ́. Torí ẹ̀ ní Ghana ṣe lọ ipe ẹni tó bá fẹ́ ọmọbìnrin àwọn ò ní gba $1 million lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n níjọ́ tó bá fi ọmọbìnrin àwọn yẹn sílẹ̀, ó tẹ́. Why do you think they do that? It is to protect women in Ghana from the excesses of the criminally minded Igbos. You don't respect Oni, you don't respect Aláàfin. I said about a couple of days ago, Aláàfin á ṣígun fún yín, Oni á ṣígun fún yín, ẹ̀yin torí yín ti dàrú. They have destroyed your constitution. There's nothing your Oba can do. It is you, the youth, who must bring back the power of your kings. The salaries and allowances of Onis, even recognized in the constitution of Western region. Is it recognized in the constitution of Nigeria? Is the highest paid in Yoruba land. But today, local government chairman earn money more than him. His office has budgets. There's no budget for the office of Oni anymore. The Igbo that has no kings, you allow them to destroy your institution. There's another section about audit of public accounts, which I believe that you can read that up, which will do well. There's one thing that is beautiful about this constitution about auditors. The auditors of the region cannot be influenced. Even though it's going to be appointed by Oni of Ife on the recommendation of the premier, the moment that appointment is made, nobody can dictate to him until he completed his job. Let me quickly speak on public debt. The only reason why I have tried to speak on this public debt in the constitution is because of the Libra tí ó mọ̀ wílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Later on, I will watch it. So education is free. Tó bá mọ̀ wí wá tún lu ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ṣáà. Orí ẹ̀ máa pé ẹni tó bá mọ̀ wí ló ń go into politics nílùú òyìnbó. That's why tí APC ṣe máa ń win election. Ẹni tí ò mọ̀ wí làwọn PDP máa ń gbé síta. Ẹni tí ò lọ́pọlọ, tí ò lórí pípé. Ẹ ń pariwo wọ́n ní pé China, mo dẹ̀ wo gbogbo èèyàn báyìí mọ́. So ìwé kan tí mo kà lọ́jọ́ kan bá tó ti pẹ́, ó sọ pé gbogbo America yẹn 300 million plus ní population, wọ́n ṣe pọ̀ tó yẹn 1% nìkan ló lọ́gbọ́n. Imagine, nígbà tí mo kọ́kọ́ wo yẹn mo rò pé kí ni ìsọkúsọ ìtẹ́lẹ̀ ìsọ. But mo realize pé òótọ́ ló ń sọ. Nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ́ni, that's what I say pé Yorùbá land is an illiterate society. Nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ́ni pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn tó ń gbé PhD jáde tó sọ pé àwọn ní master, àwọn lọ sí university, wọn graduate. Èyí tó lọ́gbọ́n lórí wọn ò tó 1%. That is the truth. They started talking about pé China, it is sign sovereignty yín dànù. Igbe ẹ lọ gba loan lọ́wọ́ China. Wọ́n ti rò bí pé cash ní China gbé wá fún yín. Ọkọ rò pé abẹ́yà China lọ print owó ń gbé cash wá. China gbé woman capital wá fi gbá yín ni. Nígbà tẹ́yìn ò lọ́pọlọ. Ṣé ń kàwé gidi ni. Wọ́n ti pa education lẹ̀ Yorùbá jẹ́ náà. China ó gbé woman capital wá. Ṣé ẹ̀yin lè ṣe bírò ni. China ń ṣe drone, China ń ṣe mọ́tò, China ń ṣe oríṣiríṣi lọ́wọ́ healthcare wọn. Robot kan tún ṣe operation fún yàn. Ẹ̀yin ò lè ṣe náà nígbà tí wọ́n ti bà regional government jẹ́ kò sọpọlọ mọ́ lórí yín. China ò kó raw cash wá fún yín, ẹ̀yin ọ̀dẹ̀. Wọ́n kọ́ rélùwé fún yín, wọ́n gbogbo nǹkan tó fi ń ṣe rélùwé wọ́n ti fabricate ẹ̀ nílùú wọn tí wọ́n ti san salary fáwọn ọmọ wọn. Company tó fabricate ẹ̀ ó ti san tax fún ìjọba China. wọ́n wá kó gbogbo nǹkan tó ti ṣe wọ́n wá kó wá fún yín pé irin táwọn fẹ́ fi ṣe rélùwé yìí o iye báyìí ló máa cost o, òun ló di lóònù. Kóòṣì tán ti ṣe láti ìlú wọn ò dáṣẹ́lẹ̀ fún yín. Tó bá yẹ pé Yorùbá ní regional government ní irin tán fi ń ṣe rélùwé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá láti produce ẹ̀, àwọn èèyàn á gba sálárì tó máa ṣe. Kóòṣì tán fẹ́ fi ṣe rélùwé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá náà máa ti produce ẹ̀ so that àwọn èèyàn á lè gba sálárì. But China kó gbogbo ẹ̀ wá fún yín ni ẹ wá ń san gbèsè ẹ̀, but ẹ wá ń pariwo ẹ̀ ké kó má dàbí ẹni pé mo kàn ń support APC Hausa Fulani, èmi kàn fílẹ̀ kó róòlù ni, èmi ò sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ẹ̀. Wọ́n ní pé China ti gbalẹ̀ wá o, wọ́n ti sign sovereignty wo constitution ẹ̀ guys, page kí ni ẹ̀ náà o, page 192 section 61 subsection 1 of the Constitution of Western Nigeria. Public debt. It says the public debt of the region shall be secured on the revenues and assets of the region. Mọ̀wé Libra ṣé kan lo emotion ayé Yorùbá dẹ̀ wá ti ta gan. Àwọn tí ò mọ̀wé ló wá ń sọ̀rọ̀ fún wa in public. Tó bá lọ gba loan nílùú onílùú tó gba loan gan, mo ti fún àbúrò tèmi lówó rí nígbà tí mo kọ́kọ́ dé lu owó yẹn pọ̀ torí mo ní poultry yẹn mo ti ní láti ìgbà tí mo wà university torí mo wà scholarship, so gbogbo owó tí mo rí mo fi kọ́ poultry ni. Mo wá lọ sí ìlú òyìnbó ní òkè bá mi sọ poultry the big business. Mo tún wá send owó fún láti London. Ó fowó mi gbóbìnrin, ó lọ fowó mi mọtí, alùtúmọ̀ mọtí yóò tún bì sára gàràgàrà owó tèmi ń struggle láti ṣe. Mo wá pè mo wá sọ pé tó bá yẹ kó lọ sí bank lọ gba owó yẹn wàá san interest. Tó bá kó tó sọ pé òun san interest wàá fi nǹkan kan dúró. Tó o bá san owó yẹn padà nǹkan tó dúró wọn á gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Nǹkan tó fi dúró tán bá rí mọ́ wá mú ẹ mọ́lẹ̀ wọ́n á dẹ̀ tún tì ẹ mọ́lẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n torí pé mo send owó sí ẹ Ọlọ́run fowó tèmi mọ́tì. Tó bá gba loan ní bank wàá fi nǹkan kan dúró. Ó ní constitution lẹ Yorùbá ń sọ the public debt of the region shall be secured on the revenue and assets of the region. So táwọn Buhari ṣe yẹn kò sí nǹkan kan, kò sí bàbàrà nú ẹ̀ pé wọ́n sign nítorí pé ẹ mọ̀wé ló ṣe jẹ bàbàrà fún yín. Wọ́n ti sign sovereignty Yorùbá wọ́n ti sign sovereignty Nàìjíríà fún China bọ́n ṣe ń ṣe nìyẹn. Tó bá ti lọ yáwó lọ́wọ́ èèyàn tó o bá san padà wọ́n á gba nǹkan tó ní. Simple thing. Under regional government, we borrowed money on the basis of revenue and assets in Yoruba land. Unfortunately, because the Igbo suspended regional government, so Buhari goes to China, borrowed money, and used Yoruba waterway as collateral. He uses the revenue. He has projected that every year, Apapa Wharf generates 10 trillion naira with Apapa Wharf and Tinker Port. Apapa Wharf generates 6 trillion, Tinker Port 4 trillion, making 10 trillion naira every year. So he goes to China and says to them, I need 5 trillion naira. So they will give him, not the raw cash. They will come and produce certain things, like the railway. So he has used Apapa Wharf, the revenue from Apapa Wharf, as collateral. So as we are paying money in Apapa Wharf, he's taking it and giving it to China. But the railway that the Chinese are building, they are building it in Hausa Fulani land, taking the revenue of the Yoruba as collateral. So, one, it is nothing bad for your sovereignty to be signed away because they secure loan with the revenue and the assets you have. The most painful thing there is this: because the Igbo suspended regional government, all the loan collected by Buhari, a Fulani man, is using more than 60% of the loan to build his own region, and is using Yoruba collateral, Yoruba asset, Yoruba revenue as collateral. So unless you put your own son there as president. So in Olórí burúkú Yoruba Libra tẹ́ wà ní England, àjọ wà ń bí ní ìlú burúkú ni. Yorùbá tó wà níbẹ̀ àwọn ẹlòmíì máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ lójú títì, wọ́n ti ya wèrè. English ti báyé wọn jẹ́. Àwọn míì wọ́n fẹ́ gba asylum ẹnu 15 years wọ́n wà lẹ́nu ẹ̀. 10 years wọ́n wà lẹ́nu ẹ̀. Ìmí ń gbé ibi tó bá rí ibi tí mi ń gbé ìwọ gan tó wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ó ń gbádùn jùlọ. Wọ́n máa lọ ṣiṣẹ́ nínú òtútù. Oríṣiríṣi àìsàn ti wà lára wọn. depression ló pọ̀, mental home lọ síbẹ̀, wà àwọn Yorùbá women bẹ̀. Forget, ìyà yẹn máa jẹ yín pa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń condemn Tinubu yẹn, ìyà yẹn máa continue, ẹ̀yin ló fòkètù. Tó bá gbé ọmọ títí ẹ síbẹ̀ tó jẹ́ president Nigeria, ṣòro bí a pé Tinubu á lọ yáwó lọ́wọ́ China, á fi asset Yorùbá dúró, á lọ máa fi túnlẹ̀ Haúsá ṣe. Nígbà tí ṣe bí wọ́n ṣe pé fún kì í ṣe Ọbásanjọ́ tó jẹ́ pé bàbá ẹ̀ Ìgbò ni. Ọbásanjọ́ ló lè ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Nígbà tó débẹ̀ Ọbásanjọ́ kò fún wọn ní ṣàríà ni. Ṣèbọn fẹ́ gé owó èèyàn kan lẹ́ni tí gbogbo yín pariwo ẹ̀ ń bú Buhari torí wọ́n fẹ́ gé owó èèyàn, ẹ̀ ń bú gómìnà Kano. Ọbásanjọ́ kọ́ ló fún wọn ṣàríà. Ta ló fún yín presidential system tẹ́ ń lò lẹ́ni? Kì í ṣe Ọbásanjọ́ ló fún yín presidential system tó kọ constitution 1979. Ta ló fún yín unity system? Kì í ṣe àwọn Ìgbò ni. Ọbásanjọ́ ṣe bí Ìgbò ni. Ìgbò ló bà Nàìjíríà jẹ́. Ta bá ń pariwo pé Fúlàní ó ní nǹkan tá à ń mú bọ̀. Ìgbò gangan lè kú ẹ̀dá tó destroy life yín. Ta ló gba tẹlifíṣàn yín lọ́wọ́ yín? Ta ló gba gbogbo stadium yín lọ́wọ́ yín? Ta ló gba unity school lọ́wọ́ yín? School Yorùbá pátápátá tí Ọbásanjọ́ sọ di unity school. Ta ló gba gbogbo farm settlement yín lọ́wọ́ yín? Kì í ṣe Ọbásanjọ́ ni. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ gọ̀ tẹ́ fẹ́ ní wọ́ra. Wọ́n lọ ń yáwó nílùú òyìnbó. Wọ́n ní wọ́n ti sign sovereignty Nàìjíríà dànù. Bọ́n ṣe ń ṣe nìyẹn. Àìmọ̀wé yìí náà ni. Ṣé láwọn tí ò mọ̀wé yìí náà dẹ̀ ló máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ gan lórí social media? Wọ́n kàn máa jábọ́ ṣáá ni. Fúlàní ti ta Nàìjíríà fáwọn China, wọ́n á lọ máa gbóríṣiríṣi fídíò wa. Tó o bá yáwó lọ́wọ́ èèyàn, tó o bá san padà nǹkan tó fi dúró wọn á gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ni. Ṣó yẹ? Bọ̀ tí bí tí ẹ ti gọ̀, èyí tó jẹ́ kẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ sí ni pé o ò lè yáwó lọ́wọ́ Chinese kó máa lọ fi ọrọ̀ ajé Yorùbá dúró. Kò dẹ̀ sí bó ṣe máa stop until tẹ́ bá fọmọ yín sórí oyè presidency yẹn. Ọmọ yín ò dẹ̀ lè débẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ní support America lẹ́yìn. Ọmọ yín ò lè débẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá lo organized violence. Ẹ̀yin olórí burúkú Yorùbá Libra tẹ́ ẹ sọ pé wọ́n ti sign away sovereignty Nigeria, tẹ́ ẹ bá jó Àpápá Wharf, kí ni Chinese fẹ́ dúró gbà? Tẹ́ ẹ bá jó Tinker Port, kí ni Chinese fẹ́ dúró gbà? But ẹ lè jó nítorí pé wọ́n bí ìyá yín rè, wọ́n bí bàbá ńlá bàbá yín rè gan, torí ẹ̀ lẹ́mìí. But tó bá yẹ pé kẹ́ bá yé Tinubu jẹ́ ni, ẹ ní energy ńgbà yẹn. Tó bá yẹ kẹ́ bá yé Tinubu jẹ́, ìgbà yẹn lágbára ágùn yín, ẹ̀yin táyé yín máa bàjẹ́, wọ́n máa fìbọn fọ́ yín lórí ni o. Òótọ́ mo sọ fún wọ́n dúró de 1st of October yín, ẹ jáde síta sẹ́ẹ̀, wọ́n á pa yín. Méjì péré náà máa yìnbọn fún. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tó kù máa sáwọ̀ ọ̀gbẹ́ni, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ lẹ́mìí. Ordinary wildlife tó sọ fún federal government pé tó bá gbé python dance wá sílẹ̀ Yorùbá, wọ́n máa deploy chemical weapon. Ṣé o rí python dance? Ṣé o rí? Àwa lẹ́mìí. A dẹ̀ ní means láti carry out threat wa. So folks, ibi tí they hate they my hand lẹ́ni ní ẹ̀. Gbogbo èsì tí àwọn Libra máa ń pariwo, kọ́ máa condemn nìkan ni wọ́n mọ̀. Wọ́n ní solution sí nǹkan. Kán bá tọmọ ìyá wọn jẹ́ nìkan. Bí Tinubu ṣe máa kú náà wá. Nǹkan tó ń wá sí ní ẹ o. Kí wọ́n kàn gbọ́ news pé Tinubu kú, wá rí wọ́n ṣe máa jubilate. So irú àwọn yẹn, èèyàn máa ń pa wọ́n ni. Òótọ́ mo sọ fún yín, ẹni tó bá fẹ́ bà ti èèyàn jẹ́, èèyàn máa ń pa wọ́n ni. Èèyàn máa ń pa wọ́n ni o. Wọ́n dẹ̀ máa fẹ́ bà tilẹ̀ Yorùbá jẹ́. Gbogbo wọn dẹ̀ ní opinion. Gbogbo wọn dẹ̀ jáde, wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ òṣì. Àwọn tó ń dìbò fún Àtíkù. So a ní pẹ́ parí àwọn ọba yẹn o. 87 ọbas. 87 ọbas ló wà important lẹ̀ Yorùbá. Gbogbo ọba 10,000 yẹn sàárà ni wọ́n. Baálẹ̀ ni wọ́n. Tá bá sọ̀rọ̀ lórí miscellaneous under section bóyá 9 or 10. Tá bá sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ẹ̀, wàá rí a sọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo provinces tó wà lẹ̀ Yorùbá under regional government. A ní pẹ́ parí àwọn research yẹn lórí àwọn ọba yẹn. A fẹ́ sọ fún yín ọba tó important lẹ̀ Yorùbá. 87 péré ni wọ́n. Kì í ṣe gbogbo ọba ló important. Ọba ti pọ̀ jù. Tí àwọn politicians wa náà dẹ̀ ló máa ń lo àwọn ọba yẹn. Ordinary baálẹ̀ wọ́n ti sọ̀dọ̀ ọba. A dẹ̀ máa rán wọn létí pé ọba wà ní France tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ kó tó di pé wọ́n gbogbo wọn pa o. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi kan sọ fún mi pé níbi tó gbàtà wọn fẹ́ pa àwọn ọba French yẹn, wọ́n ní ọmọ kékeré kan wà ọmọ 3 years old tó yẹ pé ọmọ ọba ni wọ́n pa, wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ìran yẹn wà mọ́. wọ́n pa ọmọ yẹn ọba ti pọ̀ jù nílẹ̀ Yorùbá o. Yeah, that is very right, sir. Sir Kazim say the Yoruba doesn't come to Nnamdi Kanu page because we don't have anything to learn from him. But all Igbos are coming here to learn. That's where they're coming. They will always come to Adeyinka grandson. They know that we speak the truth, and they know that we are very smart, precocious, and intelligent. We speak nothing but the truth. And that YF has only used one thing alone to change the course of research. That is it. That is the only thing we've used. Very simple thing. Our research finding is first class. So you see, you condemn us that there's nothing like the Constitution of Western Nigeria when I first made mention of it more than a year ago. But today, everybody is debating it, everybody is discussing it, even up to the presidency of Nigeria. So that is one thing that we have used, and we have used successfully to help to change the course of history. This is psychological. My father actually said this to me, that when he was young, no one will look koboko shoot me. So what he instill fear sí wọn nínú, wọ́n wá fẹ́ máa impart fear yẹn sí àwa. Ìbọn and the support of the English ni Fulani fi dominate. Ìbọn tí Yorùbá dẹ̀ tó bá wo Yorùbá dáadáa. Ṣòro àwọn lóṣì Libra yẹn níjọ́ tó rí wọn bá reset, ìyà ló máa reset orí wọn, wọ́n ná wọn fi bí ẹni máa kú. Tó rí wọn bá ti reset, wọ́n lè wá pa àwọn Ìgbò àtàwọn Fúlàní, wọ́n á pa àwọn lẹ́kẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ́, but àwọn Libra la máa kọ́kọ́ tì síwájú kan kú sógun dáadáa tó ló fò lókun wọn. Àwọn Libra ẹ̀ wọ́n yìí tìrì burúkú. Yeah, they still don't say the truth. Like you rightly said, they don't say the truth. Let me say what Awolowo said in Awolowo's speech that I was reading earlier. I'm reading this in response to Egbon Kasim Alabawo saying that till today, the Igbo leader shy to say the truth. This is what Awolowo said when he was referring to Igbo and Hausa Fulani, that they don't speak the truth. That is a big problem. He said, in closing, I have this piece of advice to give. Awolowo is very knowledgeable. See, the actions of the Hausa Fulani and the Igbo, it's not strange to me. When you take your time to research about the problem of Nigeria, you will never allow Igbo and Hausa Fulani to be president of Nigeria. You will never. Nigeria will never be great. And it is to the eternal joy of the English in particular for Fulani to be ruling Nigeria. Because the English don't want your country to be great. They are stealing your wealth. Look at what Awolowo said in 1967 in that speech he made on the 1st of May, 1967. 53 years ago, he said, in closing, I have this piece of advice to give. In order to resolve amicably and in the best interest of all Nigerians, certain attributes are required on the part of Nigerian leaders, be it military as well as non-military leaders alike. Namely, this is the attributes that Awolowo said are required. He said, namely, vision, realism, and unselfishness. But above all, what will keep Nigerian leaders in the north and east unwavering in the paths of wisdom, realism, and moderation is courage and steadfastness on the part of Yoruba people in the cause of what they sincerely believe to be right, equitable, and just. You can imagine how he's using words. He goes on. He said, in the past 5 years, we in the West, that is the Yoruba, we in the West and Lagos have shown that we possess these qualities in large measure. What are the qualities? Vision, realism, and moderation. We, Yoruba, we possess this, but the Igbo and Hausa Fulani do not. He said, if we demonstrate them again as we did in the past, calmly and heroically, we will save Nigeria from further bloodshed and imminent wreck, and at the same time preserve our freedom and self-respect into the bargaining. In this paragraph, Awolowo pointedly stated that the Hausa Fulani lack vision, realism, and they are selfish people. Very, very selfish. These two people. That is why you will see Igbo youth shouting Biafra, knowing fully well that Biafra will never come. But if you say to them that your Biafra is the 5 Igbo states plus the Igbo part of Delta and the Igbo part of River, this is your Biafra, they will tell you no, that their Biafra must include other people's homeland. These guys are never realistic. That is why Awolowo said that they lack vision, realism, and moderation. And he went on, he said that we Yoruba, we possess this quality. We Yoruba are always honest. Hausa Fulani will say with boldness that Nigeria is not negotiable. And they are the one occupying our space. They control our resources and everything. Only Yoruba are just. This is what Awolowo said in that paragraph. Only Yoruba people are just. That's why when we were researching the APC recommendation on true federalism, we stated that whether a Yoruba man is in APC or in PDP, they want regional government. Full-blooded Yoruba citizen. But Igbo, any Igbo in APC or PDP, they don't want regional government. They want this unitary system. Because they are stealing Yoruba well. These guys are selfish. They lack vision. They believe, particularly Fulani believe that the Yoruba will not be able to contain English. When I was reading about the atrocity of the English, I realized that we have fought 4 wars with this guy. They never defeated us, the English. So I said to myself, we can actually deal with these people this time around, and for the good. You know, when I brought my mom online, I never knew that the English were about to put my grandfather in prison. Look at the same thing they're trying to do to me, charging me to court, knowing fully well that an irresponsible woman has made the allegation of terrorism against me to stop me from getting what belongs to me. They're charging me. And my grandfather dealt with them until we chase them out, and my own generation will finish them. Because if we don't finish them, they will come back for our children. It is the English that are giving Fulani boldness to say they want to hold on to power. If we undermine English businesses in Yoruba, it's your space. That's one thing the Yoruba you don't know. England is not your space. If you do shit here, they can even kill you, the English. But in Yoruba land, you can mess up any foreigners you don't like. You can ask them to leave your space with their businesses. It's your space. Look at that paragraph. Go and read that Awolowo speech. He said the Igbo and Fulani, they are selfish people. They lack vision. They lack reality. Igbo believe till tomorrow that Nigeria will continue to remain this way. They don't believe that a generation will come. Look at what happened during Biafra. Igbo people put Awolowo in prison. They started killing Yoruba. They went into Efikibibio, kill all of them. They went into Ijoland, kill all of them. They went to Edo Uroboland, kill all of them. They moved to Ore, kill all of them. And they expected Yoruba to fold their hands. This is what brought us into the war. Up to tomorrow, they will be lying to their children. These guys are selfish people. They are not realistic. They don't know that this generation of Yoruba, we have had enough, and we're very ruthless. We might be the sophisticated. We have been everywhere in the world. We know the game, and we're going to play it. We're going to play it. We're very ruthless. Simple thing the Yoruba has been asking for 53 years now. Let us go back to regional government. Simple. Fulani is saying no. Igbo is saying no. Yet, if Yoruba said, then okay, we opt out of Nigeria. They say, no, we're going to go with war with you. We would defeat you. We've never lost any single war. We fought English 4 times, 4 consecutive times. How many times you in Igbo fought English? Hausa Fulani fought English once. They were defeated. They cut the head of the Sultan of Sokoto and put it in a stick, the English, circulated the ram Sokoto, and Fulani surrendered. We fought the English 4 times. We signed treaty with them. So don't think your generation is weak. Don't think your civilization is shit. If we deal squarely with English in Yoruba, and you will see that Fulani will fall. Fulani will come down. And Awolowo concluded his speech. He said, may God rule and guide our deliberation here and endow all the Nigerian leaders with the vision, realism, and unselfishness, as well as courage and steadfastness in the cause of truth, which the present circumstances demand. This is the statement of 53 years old. You don't speak truth to yourself. I live in England. I'm not a first-class citizen. Likewise, so many Yoruba youth. You can't imagine the jobs Yoruba are doing abroad. Yet, we are simply saying, for Nigeria to work, let us go back to regional government. Igbo, stay on your own lane. Yoruba, develop your own space. Hausa, control your own space. Kanuri, make your homeland great. Ijo, make your space great. Efriki Bibio, concentrate on your region. Edo Urobo, join hands together to build your region. Western Middle Belt, control everything in your region. Central Middle Belt, control everything in your space. Eastern Middle Belt, make your area great. And Nigeria will be great. Simple, regional government, because we are not the same people. Why is this so difficult for the Igbo to accept? Why is it an Okulian tax for the Fulani for once sit down and realize that the English will never support them till eternity? Even their own United Kingdom, when it was created, it was to last forever. Yet everybody have devolved power. Everyone is controlling their region. So that's why Awolowo is saying, may God rule and guide our deliberations here and endow all the Nigerian leaders with the vision, realism, and unselfishness, as well as courage and steadfastness in the cause of truth, which the present circumstances demand. How? Simple. You say to Hausa Fulani, you cannot be police officer in Yoruba land. They will tell you, no, we're one Nigeria. One Nigeria. Okay. You want to be police officer in Yoruba land. You want to be controlling Yoruba police. You want to be the one carrying the guns in Yoruba land. Because we are one Nigeria, right? Is that what you want? If that is what you want, you have been doing this for many years. Now allow Yoruba to control the presidency so that we can also control the police in your own region. We can control the military in your own region. We can control the custom in your own region. Dictate who becomes your governor in your own region. Control everything in Nigeria. You think they will allow it? They don't want to. That's why they are planning against Tinubu. What Awolowo demanded for 53 years ago, we are still talking about it today. Why is it so difficult for Hausa Fulani and Igbo to accept decentralization of the police? Why is it a difficult thing for them to accept the decentralization of the military? Why? They like fucking bullshit. They want to control the guns so that they can kill you. So they are the problem. They are the people that are bringing war to Nigeria, and their burial ground is Lagos. That is where we are going to kill them and bury them there. They are the one calling for war. It is unfortunate that These are the kind of people the Yoruba nation have allowed to share the same space with them. We share the same geographical space with these people. All of these things that I'm saying to you tonight, how will all make the same demand 53 years ago? You know why it does not work for us? We don't have the backing of the United States. We don't control the presidency. These two factors will play the deciding role for our nation, whether we get it right or not. So, folks, there is no other way for us. We must bring back this constitution. There is no other way for us. We must make a full-blooded Yoruba citizen in the person of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president of Nigeria in 2023. Make no mistake, the English are against this guy. The Fulani don't want him. The Igbo don't want him. The best option and the only option is organized violence. And Lagos is the battleground. We must arm ourselves with chemical and biological weapons. This is the weapon that we will use to defend our civilization. If they will not allow us to rule Nigeria, and they don't want us to break out of Nigeria, if they try to stop us, it will be war. Thank you, guys. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow.